radios. And if I had a choice there, I probably would have ran off to Canada, but I felt that wasn't really a smart move to do. So, I'm not going to take a chance and get drafted into the Army or the Marines, so I enlisted in the Navy and the Seabees. Ended up passing all their tests for electronics and ended up going to school for electronics engineering. I was electronics technician, and what that meant was we were involved with doing all the communications, the radios, repairing them as well as operating them for the CB base. The Navy was very good at that as far as keeping morale up and bringing in different things for us. We always got the best of everything, so pretty much every Sunday we would have a barbecue and do steaks. They'd fly beer in, and we'd have beer and steaks and barbecue. I felt safe down there because in the next room was the company commander and the executive officer. And so in there was a big board with, if we were under attack, they could plan things out and they could come into me and say, okay, send us out a message here, we need help here, whatever's going on. So yeah, I felt that was pretty safe, but what I found out later, because we always had these Marine guards at the top of these doors up here, standing there, and these guys had grenades and everything on their belt, and I'm going. So one time, it was just before we were leaving, I said, so okay, you guys are going to tell me what is your purpose? Why were you here for? I mean, we're just, were you going to protect us? And he said, as much as we could, but then these are all thermal grenades. So if you guys couldn't get out, our orders were to open the grenades and throw them down there and just destroy the whole bunker with you guys in it. I said, oh, that's nice to know. Yeah, the whole idea was to destroy any evidence of what was down in there as along with us if we couldn't get out in time. I never really were in a direct command center activity because our camp never got overrun. We never got attacked all the time I was there. So that never occurred. One time as I had to go outside the camp to a communication line right outside our camp, so I just had them put me on a platform in a forklift and they raised me up. So I was up there working on fixing this communication line for them, and somebody starts shooting at me. So, and a bullet when it comes close to you, because the sound of the ballistic is so loud, it's like a loud crack. So I heard that right over my head, and I turned around to look, and as I looked, another one hit the wood chip and knocked chips off. At that point, I dropped down onto the platform, and so I yelled down to the guy, "Get me down! There's somebody shooting at me!" And he's going, "Oh yeah, I'll get you." He's there playing around with this thing, couldn't get it to lower, and I'm still being shot at. I just rolled off about 20 feet into the rice paddies and jumped down myself, got out of the thing, just went right into the mud of the rice paddies. But that's the only time that I actually got shot at, was right there. I was fortunate enough not to go on any of these detachments, and that's where the three fellows that were in our camp got killed. They were on a detachment going to Anwa, which is a detachment out by the coast. And they put them in these brand new Ford aluminum Jeeps. They were coming around a bend. There was a mine in the ground there. They hit the mine, and it killed all three of them right there on the spot. And like I said, one was my bunkmate there, Larry Riddle. And it was a crystal clear night, and I could see these things coming out from on the other side of the mountainside, which is called the Oshaw Valley over there. Little things with red tails on them, and I realized they were rockets coming out of there. Someone was firing rockets out from Oshaw Valley, and they were going over the top of our camp and heading right towards the Da Nang Air Base. And I just could hear the explosions. I could hear one and then another and another. another, and then finally they hit the main ammo dump or an aircraft loaded with weapons that caused an explosion that just kept building and building and building and building. It just kept exploding to the point where it looked like the sun was down on the ground and just starting to rise. I mean, it was just it lit the whole sky, and I'm just standing there looking back at this and going, wow, I've never seen an explosion that big. And as I'm looking out there, I can see buildings, rooftops flipping off, and I see the rice paddies mowing down like somebody was blowing them down. And I was looking down at our camp PX, and the roof got peeled off, and I'm standing there going, what? And all of a sudden, boom, this shockwave hit me, knocked me over, and I turned around, I could see it just rolling right up the hill and right up towards the back of the base. So the concussion from that shockwave was just amazing. It actually can knock you right over. And we were 15 miles away from the airbase. So those are pretty amazing explosions. So that's what happened at Da Nang Air Base that night. So I ended up getting a hardship discharge. So my dad, he was an electrician, and a fixture fell on his foot, lost his foot, and then lost his leg, and then lost his other leg because of this gangrene just kept going through him. So my aunt and my mom filed for a hardship discharge. So normally I would have been in for 4 years. Instead, I was only in for 2.5 years. So really, it was almost to the point where you kind of almost had to hide from the fact that you were in the military. So if you didn't, people were making comments to you and everything. Not get into war. And it's really sad to have to keep sending young guys over there to fight and lose their lives. When should be sending the politicians over there and let them fight the battles. And I think there wouldn't be any more wars if the politicians went over and had to do the fighting.